Some people, including me, think that Pokemon has lost its soul, and today I'm going to break this thesis down and see if it's true or not. I myself was first introduced to Pokemon games from my cousin's Pokemon Fire Red. It was the first time I'd seen something like it. I didn't even know Pokemon games existed. I had seen the anime, of course, and I loved it, like most other children of my age, and being able to emulate that feeling with myself in control as the trainer, it allowed me and many other children to experience the world of Pokemon firsthand, making my own choices. But now, as the years have gone by, and many would tell you that the newer games and generations of Pokemon are a bit bland, just uninteresting, and just don't have the charm of the old games. Disclaimer, this topic itself is rather subjective and thus many can disagree with me, and that's completely okay, as some of these criticisms are my own personal views and not fact. With that out of the way, let's begin with the video. Number 1. Color palette. I hope I'm not the only one, but the older generations felt more saturated and alive. The colors popped even in a pixelated game. Now, the muted colors just don't reach us the same way. The characters try to have more interesting dialogues and 3D sprites, but it's just not the same with their soulless eyes and unnatural movement that just don't feel right. Number 2. Factory line. Over the years, Pokemon has garnered a huge following of a massive audience from all age groups. Men in their 30s and early 40s love Pokemon just as much as preteens and adolescents. This massive audience, of course, demands merchandise, plushies, plastic figurines, posters, and so much more. But now, because of this, Pokemon feels less like an actual project full of passion from the creator and more of a corporate's way to earn profits. It feels systemic and unnatural, and has kind of taken a hit at the Pokemon experience that a kid has. This, in my opinion, also leads to things like Pikachu clones, when they try to replicate hit Pokemon, which leads to stagnation in interesting design. Number 3. Open world. Back in the day of Pokemon, we didn't have to worry about its limited map. Pokemon was original in its incredible story. For the games, the older generations of Pokemon didn't need to use a huge open world map because the overarching story and the villains were interesting. We had a set path of the 8 gyms and the championship tournament always, but the journey through that path was special. It was interesting. Nowadays, there's more exploration space, but it just feels empty. There's no character. Of course, it isn't true for the entire game, but quality should always take precedence over quantity. There's just more space, and there's nothing in it. There's a difference between exploration in open space and actual meaningful space. Number 4. Handholding. Something that many creators before me have talked about, and I will add to today's list, is handholding. In essence, the newer games are just way easier than the older games. This can be because of the new, better updates to previous systems that just make our life in the game easier, but by removing the challenge of Pokemon games, it risks complacency. Newer players won't know what it's like to grind in wild grass for hours on each Pokemon because of no early XP shares, and thus the idea of a victory will no longer be as satisfactory or appealing. The best example of this is the Legend ZA tutorial, which is egregiously long, which just kills the fun of exploring and discovering things on your own. The rivals nowadays are also just best friends with similar goals, when back then they had well thought out teams and strategies to destroy you. It just doesn't feel the same. The depth of discovery and battle has been diluted by the new games. Number 5. Finally, the main reason why I think, and why many others like me think that Pokemon has lost its charm, is the simple curse of nostalgia. I don't think this needs much explaining. Most of us just missed the first time we played these games, and for most of us, those were the older games. Maybe Pokemon hasn't lost its charm. Maybe we're just chasing the feeling of discovering the world of Pokemon for the very first time. And that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched till here, that means maybe you liked the video, or maybe you just found it interesting. Anyways, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps out a ton. It doesn't take much time. Thank you guys so much for watching.